Hello, welcome back. Hopefully my mic is working this time. I am so scarred from the first day we started streaming on this that I'm apparent that I think that every technical issue that could go wrong would go wrong. And look at that, I almost forgot to start my timer because we only have 25 minutes to take you through another daily challenge today. So I'm going to take you through making some custom candies. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but there is definitely a theme of food with me, and that is not a problem, so don't complain. Hi Oliver, hi Robert, hi Mwendwa, hi Milhan. Oh, mic is working. Thank you, Pixie. That is my sister. You're going to be seeing her in like 24 minutes now. So let's go on to the plan today, and I'm like covering half of it, so let's fix that. We are going to use some custom strokes and brushes, which you kind of covered already with Voodoo Val, but in Photoshop. So we're going to have a look at how to do that in Illustrator. And then we're going to create a set of chocolate bonbons, and then we're going to build the scene. The scene itself is quite interesting. I think on its own, they would be quite different if we weren't combining them with Pixie Pew afterwards. So you'll see what I mean once we get into them. Sound good? Hi, Gareth. Hi, General. Hi, Patrick. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Devlin. Candies for all. Candies or chocolate bonbons. If you heard me say I was lactose intolerant the other day, no, you didn't. Shall we get started? Alrighty. So, if you want to follow along, as always, there is a link to these free assets, so you can grab a hold and mess about if you like. I think Cody will probably be dropping a link soon. Hi, Farhad. Hey. So, this is our bonbon. I'll show you the scene later because it's quite exciting, but I don't want to give too much away for what Pixie's doing. Now, what I was thinking, you know those chocolates that you get and you've got the different like swirls over the top of them and the different patterns and things like that? That's what we're going to be doing today, using scatter brushes and modifying strokes and things like that. It's going to be pretty cool. So let's get into it. Thank you, Cody. Yes, and make sure you share your work. I want to see what chocolates you made for me. And yes, for me. So I think, first things first, we're going to put a fill color into this. I'm feeling like I was going to do white chocolate, but I don't think it's going to show up all that much. So let's go with like a milk chocolate color. Yeah, that's milk chocolatey. Bonbons, that's a name I've not heard of for a long time. Oh no, am I showing my age? So the first way we're going to customize this is by let's make a new brush. So if you're not familiar with the brushes, it's over here, the paintbrush tool, but we have also these extra options here. I only have these two brushes, but you can also download brushes and install them here, but you can make your own, which is what we're going to do today. Now, to make your own brush, I feel like doing like a splatter pattern. So we're going to use that, we're going to create a circle and then mess around with some of the options to make it a scatter brush. Today's project name, making chocolates for Storm. Yeah. So let's fill that in. We don't want a stroke, we want a fill. We're going to start with a fairly basic one, but you can make this as complicated as you like. So with our basic shape, we are going to, you can either hit the plus with this selected, or you can just drag and drop it over here. And then it makes it a, oh, where'd it go? Why? Oh, is it because it's attached? Oh, I've got it in the wrong layer, haven't I? Let's put it up here, up. There we go. And then we hit plus. So we're going to create a new brush. We're going to do a scatter brush. It's going to bring up these options, but I'm not going to do anything with that just yet because I want to show you guys how it affects the brush. If you go down to colorization though, the one thing we do want to change is the method. This way it doesn't just hold on to being the color we make it. That way we can change the color later. So this is our scatter brush. You can change it. It's probably a good idea to actually name these brushes, otherwise you'll get lost at some point. But if I select the brush tool now on the separate layer, I start drawing. It looks awful. First of all, we want to get rid of the fill because we're just drawing with the stroke with it selected. But look, there is our brush shape that we made. So this works with pretty much any shape you make. So you can make flowers, leaves, and vines, and all of that sort of stuff, which is pretty cool. But it gets even cooler. Add animation, bobbing bonbon. Oh, it's not quite. Just you wait. If we double click the scatter brush options now, we want to change the size, spacing, scatter. Rotation doesn't really matter because it's a circle and you're not going to be able to tell which way it's facing. But for everything else, we set it to random, and look what happens when we start moving these sliders. Oh. Spacing, scatter. And already you can get some pretty interesting effects with these brushes. From this point, you can kind of tweak it and change it how you like. But from that point, if you hit OK and then apply to strokes, it applies to this stroke and then any subsequent strokes you make afterwards. But we're going to apply it to this one. So you can see that sort of effect it makes now. So now what we're going to do on the layer above our bonbons with that newly made brush, we are going to draw some shapes around here, maybe around this side, and because it's scattered already, and I can actually move the paths as well if I want to tweak it like that, we've got like a little scatter bonbon, which is actually kind of cool. It reminds me of those chocolates that have those like rose petals on them. Now I'm not sure I'd eat chocolate that's got black dots on it, so let's change that to like these pinkish color ones. Let's get rid of these as well while we are here. So we've got like some pink spots on them, but obviously doesn't quite fit in the shape. If you guys remember the last time we've been doing a few clipping masks. You just got here, hi Penny. So to clip this into this shape, I'm going to grab hold of the chocolate bonbon base shape, drag it over the top of the path, which is in the wrong place. There we go. With the top layer and the what do I call it? The spot layer, I guess. I'll have them both selected, make clipping mask. Oh, I forgot to have them both selected. There we go, make clipping mask. And now it actually fits within the shape. Although it still fits a little bit over the stroke, which I'm not too keen about. Usually to fix that, I just duplicate another layer and remove the fill, and that fixes that issue for me. So that's one way of using and making a brush stroke in Illustrator, which is pretty cool. Like I said, it works with any shape, so that's a good example. I'm going to duplicate this and we're going to make another one. Make sense so far? Next one we're going to do is use the modify tools. So we're going to use an existing brush this time, this basic one over here. Bye Farhad! Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to use a white, we'll pretend this like some white chocolate swirls or something like that. I like white chocolate. So I'm going to, with the basic brush selected, I'm going to draw like someone's drizzled all over it for me. Oh, I've got the wrong brush selected. Ah! It's easy. It's an easy fix if that happens. Just select the layer and choose the different brush style that you want. And make sure it's not filled in. You just want the stroke. And there you go. Now, here's the other thing we can do. There's some pretty cool modification tools over on this side. If I hover over them, You can see you've got a width tool, a warp tool, twirl, pucker, bloat, scallop, crystallize, and wrinkle. We're going to use the width tool. This one does some pretty cool things. Oh, Jack! There's a lot of love there, thank you. But be careful, I'm not sure people can see past the chat, all those hearts. Now, the cool thing about the width tool is if, like me, you haven't got your Wacom tablet to hand and you're not working with a pressure sensitivity, you can click along the stroke and drag and make this sort of really cool wibbly wobbly effect. I'm not sure what the technical word would be for it. I like wibbly wobbly. That sounds good enough to me. And that works for pretty much any part of the stroke. You can click up and down and just drag and it changes the width of it, which is pretty cool. In it. Someone have been nagging the bonbon? A candle, candy. Although I think some of you have clocked on that I'm British. With the in it, bruv. So there's another really cool way. And just like with the last one, we'll just drop it under a clipping mask. And that one will be done too. So that's two ways. We've got some spots, we've got some swirls. There's other things you can do with the modification tools as well. The twirl tool is one of my favorites, actually. I'm going to show you that one because that one is a pretty cool function. How are we doing for time? I think we're still doing all right. Yes, I think we're good. All right. So I'm going to duplicate this again. I need to lock the back layer. I keep doing that. I've told you guys to lock the back layer before. Do as I say, not as I do, please. I like your project so far. Oh, it gets better. Because you guys know by now, for 3 days in, that if you stick around after my stream, you get to animate this scene with my little sister. And she's done something really cool with this one. So let's show you how the twirl tool works. So for this one, I'm just going to do a straight line across, I think. Yeah, let's do a straight line across. We'll get rid of the clipping group. We'll add a blue line. Yes to the UK vibes. I love it. So I'm just going to do a straight, no, click and drag with the line tool here. And with the twirl tool, I can hover over it. And look at that. That is proper cool. I love that sort of effect. And that works pretty much all over. That's a click and drag. It can get quite intense. And if you don't want it to be quite as intense as that, you can double click on the twirl tool or whichever tool is selected. And it changes, and you can change the width, the height, the angle, and the intensity, which is probably the one I'm going to turn down a little bit. It's a pretty good trick, right? So now that the intensity is a little bit lower, it's breaking the line a little bit less. But again, with the bloat tool and the pucker tool, you have all of these effects. I'm going to go back because it looks less cute now. I might copy that, you know. Not you. I wasn't talking to you. I meant you. Holding the Alt button down and clicking and dragging. I'm just going to copy that shape across. And I think I'll merge these together with Control G to make them into a group so I can put them under another clipping mask. So we've got another one. You never use the twirl tool? It's cool, isn't it? We've got a lot of milk chocolate. I feel like we should have some like white chocolate in here or something. Oh, how do we find the twirl tool? Oh, you found it. Great. Glad you found it. If at any point you can't find something, there is a good chance that it's just hidden somewhere on your toolbar over the left. But if you can't see it, what I found is if you go down to the edit toolbar and you find the one that you're looking for, if you can see, hopefully you can, anytime I hover over, for example, the twirl tool, because it's not selected, it puts a small blue box over the tools that it's probably hidden behind, so you can go to it and then do the drop down. So if ever you can't find something, that's a good way of doing it. Hi Sam, how you doing? So let's talk about modifying stroke styles in another way. Oh, I know. Let's do a twirl, because we actually have a twirl, a spiral tool for line work. So let's create another bonbon right here. Is bonbon accurate, or is that just for sweets? I'm not sure. Do you say bonbons for chocolates? I might be wrong here. I don't know. Oh, I'm second guessing myself now. I'm gonna make this a dark chocolate one. Why not? All this talk of chocolate is giving me the munchie. Kieran! This is not your first time here. You should know by now. You have to eat before you come to my streams, because we're always going to be talking about food. Yesterday it was sushi. What was it the day before? No, it wasn't food the day before. But yesterday it was sushi. Today is chocolate. Are there any other food related ones? I don't think so, but on my streams I do a lot of food related stuff because I am always hungry. Right, so let's go on to the spiral tool. I'm just going to remove this and we're going to click and drag down here. I fancy doing a white line for you. Get rid of the fill. It's a little on the big side. We're gonna shrink it down so it fits a little bit better. Now you've got a lot of different modifiers that you can do for the stroke. So if you don't fancy creating one from scratch, you can modify the ones that already exist. So you've got variable width profiles and things like that here. For example, the width profile 1 gives us like a tapered edge already, which is pretty fancy, if I do say so myself. You've got all of these different profiles. So if you're just drawing a standard straight line, you can still tweak them yourself by having a go and messing around with some of these. Well, that one's actually quite nice. You never know what you might find. Bonbon is accurate. Is a specific type of candy chocolate. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Ah, no, I don't want to delete it. I pressed the wrong button. Forgive me. I like this one. We'll go with this one. But it doesn't stop there, guys. We can, you see where it says stroke? Aside from changing your stroke weight with the width, scrolling up to make it thicker, down to make it thinner, you can click on it and you've got all of these extra options as well. So you can kind of see it here if I get a little bit closer. The end of the path here is quite sharp. So that's the cap, basically. Mine's a butt cap. But I can make it a round cap. Actually, if I change this to a standard line, you can see a little bit better. So see, it's a round cap. There's a butt cap. And there's a projecting cap. So you've got all of those options as well. You can't quite see it on this one. You saw it on yesterday's one while I was making the isometric grids. But you can change the corners to be more rounded or to be beveled. And then you can change the stroke to be in the center of the line or the outside of the line or the inside of the line. I can't do that on this one because of the shape I'm using, I think. But if you're using straight lines, that works as well. Charbel, having a good day. Thank you. Any more practice? I caved and went to get chocolate bar from the cupboard. Sorry. It doesn't stop there. I've got some more options for you guys. If you have a look down here, you've got dashed lines. Now here's where it gets really funky. So as soon as you've done that, it gives you, well, dashes, but you can add different sizes for the gaps. So if I go gap here, 10, and then do this one 20, and then do another 10 and do 30, I can do a really interesting pattern for our stroke here, and those options are as limited as your imagination is. So you can pretty much go and adjust those as much as you like. I can't ever tell where my... Wait. I can't ever tell where a tool is in my toolbar. Well, if you're missing your toolbar, so this layout, this workspace, I think it's called, is a custom one of mine. I tend to grab and move things to the center so I can get them easily. But you can change your workspace if you go up to Window and Workspace, and you can reset them. Anything that's gone missing, chances are it will reset from there. But if you know exactly which tool you need, you can go down here and go and grab it. So for you, it's probably the toolbar. Mine's the advanced one, but if you go to the basic one, if you can't find it, then maybe you're on the basic toolbar actually. And if you go to the advanced one, you can see all the ones that I'm using. So we actually got a quite nice selection of chocolates right now. So this is the scene you're looking at for Chibi's stream. There are conveyor belts. Yes. Should give you a good idea of what's going to happen from here. But the but those modifiers that I was showing you, you can see here we've got the scatter brushes in effect. We've got a grid brush that I modified with the twirl tool and the warp tool. Spirals with customized width profiles, and stripes, repeated stripes. So you have tons and tons and tons of options. Chocolate on the conveyor belt. Yep. So I hope you guys make me some nice chocolate. Or for, you know, anyone. It doesn't have to be me. Stormy and the Chocolate Factory. Ah! I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Any questions so far? But it's pretty simple, right? So you can make some really interesting brushes. Like, try and do some flower ones. I think that will go really well on the chocolate, actually. Can those chocolates fall directly in my mouth? I need chocolate in my system. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Do we have to group the bonbon decoration mask with the bonbon before we animate it? Yes. So I think Pixie will go over this when she takes you through the whole animating process. But if you are working between Illustrator and After Effects, you want to have each whole thing that you want to move on its own layer. So if the chocolate, you want to move the chocolate as it is with its fill and its stroke and everything like that, it needs to have its own layer. So right now the conveyor belts and everything are they are not on individual layers. I hope Chippy's got the right file, but you would need to separate them into their own individual layers to be able to animate them. Question, how long have you been a graphic designer? Actually, I started off as an animator. My first career was in animation. So illustration and graphic design I've been doing for maybe, I'm not sure, a few years now. Animation's more like 10. Don't worry about it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a look at the file that Cody, the links to the file that Cody dropped down into the chat. Have a go at making some of your own. You've got like 1 or 2 candies as a starter. The rest you have to make on your own. It wouldn't be a challenge otherwise. But from there, you should be able to take it to my sister's stream and animate them. I want to give it away, but I think she's got some looping magic for you. Should be good though. Of course it's going to be good. Yeah. But that was pretty simple, right? Thank you, Sam. I really enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun. And I think for once I'm actually on time. Oh my gosh. Not gonna get me this time. Awesome. Okay then, guys, I think that's it from me. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Stick around till after the stream. You got like 5 minutes, and then Pixie will take you through how to animate the conveyor belts of chocolate. I look forward to seeing what you do. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.